Hello everyone, my name is David Jordal. I'm the developer of the CSR Direct Project. I'm going to use some visual aids. Here's the name and the website and basic description. Now, two things. Tumblr blogs I'm using as the official sites for two reasons. They're free, and the second reason is that their functionality is pretty straightforward. It works pretty well. But this website doesn't have a lot of work done on it. There's plenty of there's content there, but there's plenty of work to do. I've been focusing mostly on the websites that are all about the content or resource information for the community. So I'm here to tell you what the project is, how it got started. I'm just going to get started. I'm going to have to do some subsequent videos after this, because I can't, last night I actually did a video that was a half an hour long, and I realized that YouTube wouldn't allow me to upload a half an hour long video. So it is all about community resource information, starting with those in need, or focused, or the priority is for resources for those in need, most in need. But the goal is for everybody, is to be inclusive, that we're all together, we're one community, that we are too fragmented right now, and there's a functionality to this project to help bring together. That's a real base philosophy behind this work. So there's a lot to tell you about what this project is. I've been thinking about it a lot, working on it a lot, and actually how it got started was personal circumstance 6 years ago. So in 2010, I found myself running out of money, and among other things, I decided to stop dating. And then I ended up having to let that play out, because I decided to stop dating, and no money, no place to live. Now, I wasn't ever planning to do that, and there was a series of experiences before that kind of led up to that. So I'm talking about that part just to get to lead into how the project got started. And then actually it's been my mission in life, really. And hopefully I'll explain that and clarify that in the subsequent videos and podcasts. I'll be doing some podcasts as well. But I am also here to begin to ask for support and share what it is, and let everybody know. I've got some other visual aids that I'll be showing you to focus on certain topics. So the development of this project is about prioritizing, and specifically prioritizing, like on design, web design, content, the flow on the page, so that it's not all over the place. Some websites really have a nice splash, but then there's content all over the place. And it also ends up being different when you look on it on a mobile device. So you look on a blog, these blogs on the website, on a computer, standard desktop, it looks one way, and you look on a mobile device and it looks pretty similar. There's not a lot of difference or deviance. And that's the other thing about being able to use a free Tumblr blog. There's also sharing involved. People can follow and share. So it's kind of a combination between just a straight up blog and a website like Facebook, where there's some sharing involved and following. So the topic is the priority in topics is to start to knock out the list. So this project was never about me doing all the work. It was never about me, even myself and a team of people, doing all the work. It is about enlisting volunteers in the community. I envision having conference rooms set up and having some extra laptops to bring, and then inviting other people that have laptops and going to a conference room and then working on the resource lists. And the concept of having it more comprehensive means that there's a short list PDF file, the content on the official page site. So like on the free meals page, there'd be the free meals listing on that page, and a Google map. So I just learned last week how to create a Google map with all different pinpoints on the map, and then you can select the name on the list, and it'll highlight in the map. So there's the Google Map will be a feature, and then the Google Calendar is an embedded calendar list in agenda form, so that you can go to the page and go to the calendar and see what's available today. And of course you can scroll, but the idea is that you go to the website and there's an introduction and maybe some announcements and different things in the beginning, but maybe a podcast. But then right near the top is a calendar to see what's available now. And then once you click on the Google Calendar topic on the name, it opens up into more information and hot links directly to the source, hot links to the message board. That's also part of it too. So I'm here to tell you the scope of how comprehensive, why it's comprehensive, how it benefits everybody. And the other thing is the Google Calendar full list PDF file and the form and topics for that subject on the message board. So it's a real comprehensive linking back and forth. But here is the demographics. I'm going to get to the demographics real quick here. So I divided Minnesota into the state of Minnesota into the Twin Cities and then outstate Minnesota. So I'm basically prioritizing the population, the concentration of population. So I'm using the Twin Cities and dividing it into CSR Minneapolis and CSR St. Paul, and then outstate is CSR Minnesota. And so here's some visual aids that this is a little information in the web address for CSR Minneapolis. And you can see the little yellow asterisk because this population is Western Metropolitan Twin Cities, so I don't have to count the counties of Hennepin, Carver, and Scott, and then the CSR St. Paul is the city of St. Paul and Eastern Metropolitan Twin Cities, which is here, and Eastern Metro counties are Anoka, Ramsey, Dakota, and Washington. And then here's the for CSR Minnesota. Now, the whole process so far has been to develop a sense of priority. So even doing the work, the discipline of doing the work is about prioritizing the content. And in emphasizing supporting the community to remember certain priorities like those in need, people dealing with homelessness, people in poverty, people dealing with being victims, crime, reminding us as a whole that there's certain priorities we can't stop giving attention to. Now, CSR Minneapolis. So this is the primary current priority for resource development. So that means these two sites, CSR St. Paul and Minnesota, don't have a lot of content on them. So I'm not here to say, check these out, look at how great they are. There's not a lot of content. And that's by design, well, not by design, but based on priority. And once I get more support, then we'll just hopefully, I'm envisioning this just growing. Before I go too far, I want to mention that I am starting a GoFundMe account, and I hope that people will visit these websites and get a sense of how much this and see the content. Check out the other videos and podcasts, that you'll see the value of this. Now, here's a quick mention to how it got started. So, and frankly, I've been re-recording these, so hopefully I'm not repeating myself. But I started this in 2010 because I found myself running out of money, and I found myself making a decision, among other things, to stop debting. So again, moving forward, in my first weeks in the shelter system, I found myself, and of course, I wasn't expecting to be there, but I was still okay. And then I can say this right now, that most of you don't know the range of people dealing with homelessness. That there is a stereotype for a reason, but it's still just a stereotype, and it doesn't address or speak to the range of people dealing with homelessness. And when I walked in to the shelter system right off the bat, my first day, I had already 27 years of personal experience, education, training, work, and practice, dealing with personal growth, if you will, a recovery from a family system, an alcoholic family system, a domestic violence family system, in which I was born into that sickness, really. That sickness, that alcoholic and domestic violence background, set me up to be molested. And that's exactly what perpetrators do. Pedophiles look for children that have been affected, look for children that aren't going to say anything. So anyway, so I was sexually molested when I was in junior high school, and without getting into too much of the details, even after that, I've got some other stories I can mention. But fast forward to 1983, I was going to college starting in '82 to become a director of Christian education, and realized I couldn't concentrate in school. My dad had actually died of cancer. I had found him, and I had lived with him along with a couple other family, my mom and sister and her kids. But I was the first one on the scene. I was the last one to leave the property after it sold, and then I went to Concordia College here in the Twin Cities. Speaking of which, I have been living in the Twin Cities since '78, except for that 2 years in Wisconsin where my dad had a house. And went to Concordia College to become a director of Christian education. Couldn't focus. And so started asking questions and started my process of recovery. And that was the most important thing I ever did. The absolute most important thing I ever did. I've never been a drinker as an adult. I've never been a smoker as an adult. I've never been a drug abuser. I've never even tried any of the illicit things out there. I've never been a gambler. I don't even like to drink coffee. You know, some people don't talk to me before I've had my coffee in the morning. Well, you can talk to me. I'm good. So, fast forward to 2010, I found myself in the shelter, and right away I started to work on this project. And it started out of just creating a Google Calendar. And I want to do this. This is going to end this video because I need to stop at 15 minutes here. And I hope you come back and check out the other videos that I'll be recording. But also check out my GoFundMe account. And there's a rather urgent request that I'm hoping that enough of you out there in Minnesota and across the country. Minnesota has over 5.5 million people. So I'm hoping you'll check this out. Here's an example of one topic on a page to check out. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.